Hello everyone, welcome back to Protect and Persevere. So today's video I'm going to be looking at my modified fighting load carrier, which I essentially just took a flick vest and I cut it up and turned it into my own kind of hybrid LBE system. So essentially I wanted a very versatile platform that I could wear with or without armor. I wanted to be able to carry either a lot of gear or kind of cut down on what I want to carry. I wanted something that excels in both hot weather and in cold weather, and something that would be kind of my go-to rig for a variety of different tasks that the modern Minuteman or partisan or armed prepared citizen might need to be able to handle. And so kind of just a very versatile rig that is my kind of go-between from, like, you know, a spare mag in your back pocket to a full-on like belt kit. This is something that is kind of in between both of those extremes. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. So going into the actual loadout and how I have this set up, I just want to say that first off, I think the flick vest in and of itself without any modifications is actually a pretty solid rig. I know a lot of dudes hate on it, and I think a lot of that has to do with, you know, they had to wear it in the military in a certain way and they just, you know, have a bad memory of it. But in my opinion, I think it's a pretty decent rig. But I just wanted to experiment and kind of create a modernized split rig from it, and just kind of, you know, I just want to mess around with it because I've used the Spiritus one, the 34A, and I just, for what it cost me, I wasn't fully satisfied with it. But I'm not saying that's a bad rig, just for me personally, I didn't like it. So I was like, well, if I can take something at a very significant cheaper cost and I can kind of make it my own, then why not? So there's a couple good videos out on YouTube about kind of modifying a flick vest, but like I said, I think it's a decent rig by itself. But yeah, I'm going to mine. So I guess before I go into all the pouches and stuff, I'm going to talk about what I actually did to it. So the first thing I did was I took out the inner belt part that kind of goes in the middle and connects into the front. So I took that out. I just thought that while it does carry the weight pretty well, and that's one thing I will say, is that this is more modernized and stuff, and there are some pros to it. The actual original flick vest actually carried weight better, in my opinion, just because there's more, the harness was set up better. But the first thing I did was I took out the middle piece and I attached a simple like back strap to it. I just kind of connected it to the last bit of molly on there. And then after that, since I no longer have a buckle going through from the belt piece, I added my own buckles, and I just connected these to that last bit of molly on or I guess the first piece of molly on the top and the bottom. So these are my two connection points. And then on the other side, it's a little bit more tricky because these are the points where you're going to want the male end. I actually had one random piece that went to like a chest rig or something that I didn't even have to sew anything. I just kind of slid it on the same way as like a tri-glide, like a split tri-glide on that molly. But this one, I actually put like a metal ring, and then I just crudely sewed some webbing and the other male piece. So these are my two male connectors, and then the two female ones, and then that's my middle closing system. Adding the back strap and my middle connection part, I wanted to kind of go with a more minimalistic modern H harness. So, and I guess I'll go ahead and just say that this harness and these double mag pouches are from Project Redacted on Instagram. Saw a dude, I'm pretty sure it's just him and his wife, just, you know, cranking out pouches and harnesses and all sorts of stuff. So go support them. And I try to support small businesses when I can. But yeah, good. And they make good stuff too, and in really cool colors and whatnot. And you can pretty much ask them for whatever and they'll take care of you. So yeah, I wanted a harness. So I essentially, this is where it got kind of tricky, is I cut the vest basically from the part that the molly starts on the bottom part where you actually attach the mags to it, is I cut along that whole seam and cut all of that, and I left the actual, this is the original webbing that attaches to the back part of the vest. I left that. Of course I cut the vest part off, and I was left with these two kind of middle, like long rectangle pieces. So I cut that and everything, did the same on the other side. And then after that, so I just crudely sewed basically an attachment here for the buckles. And I wanted it to look very similar to how other like split front chest rigs connect. So I have two now buckles, and I have an H harness. Very crude, and I'll probably end up sending this to that same people that did the H harness and the pouches, and just, you know, be like, hey, can you actually do a better job that I couldn't do of just like making this a permanent attachment? Because that's really the only weak link about this rig, is these connection points and probably these two middle parts. But I mean, the rig's held up pretty good. And then also probably ask them to, like, instead of me just attaching buckles to the molly, is do the same thing and just make connections sewed into it. So yeah, those. And then the other small thing I did was, the original Flick vest does have like these pockets, these like mesh pockets. Honestly, I've thought about it. I could like add some Velcro and make this like a inner pocket, because I know some chest rigs have that, but it's whatever. And then I just attached some Velcro to this side, and then I Velcroed my knife. So yeah, I'd probably also ask him if he could just like sew the Velcro to it, because right now it's literally just glued to it. So that is essentially all of the modifications that I did to it. Yeah, starting off, I just have these two Project Redacted double mag pouches in olive drab, because that's a OG color. So these two pretty generous double mag pouches, they fit P mags, steel mags, lancers, whatever, but they have a lot of room in them, so they completely swallow them. And they can also hold singles pretty well too. So if you just wanted to run, so my thought process on this is I could either go, I can go heavy and I can carry 8 mags, which some people might be like, wait, man, that's way too many mags. Some people may be like, that's not enough mags. I don't know about all that. I know 6 is the standard infantry loadout. I've never heard of stories of dudes saying they had too many mags and they wish they wouldn't have had so many when they survived. You know, you never heard that case. But I think the ability to flex between, so I could carry 8 mags, I could run just singles and run 4 mags if I wasn't, you know, I didn't think the threat level was that high. Or I could do a weird mix where I'm running like 6 mags and then the other mag pouch running smoke grenades or something. So yeah, pretty useful pouches. And they match the harness, so that's cool. And then I have these HSGI, so I think they're called small GP pouches or small vertical pouches or whatever. Basically I wanted to be able to run comms, so, and I didn't necessarily want a dedicated radio pouch, at least at first. I might go to that in the future, but I have the this is like the waterproof valve thing, and I also have a spare battery. You could probably shove some more batteries in there, or like a Leatherman or something. And then I have that hooked up to a Covert Arms PTT. So on the other side I have the same exact pouch, and this is my kind of small general purpose pouch that at first I wanted to put some type of medical on this rig, but and I'll show later on that I'll just run, if I want to run medical with this, either A, I'm wearing like a kind of pistol belt that has an eye stack on the back, or I'll just run a dedicated like medical fanny pack, either on the back, on the front, or on the side. just because unless I were to turn one of these canteen pouches into an IFAC, which is definitely, that's a possibility, or putting a dedicated IFAC pouch on this rig, that this pouch can, while it could hold like a blowout kit, like a small thing of like gauze and some like compressed gauze and some chest seals, in my opinion, it's too small for an actual generic IFAC. So in my opinion, so I have like the forward 8 mags, and then on this is like my right side, I just have 2 smoke grenades, and these are the Enola Gay twin vents, and I just have them in this little plastic bag, and then when I need it, I'll just rip the bag, and that way they stay semi-water resistant, waterproof, and protected. So I have 8 mags. In my heaviest setup, I have 8 mags and 2 smoke grenades. If I wanted to run only like 6 mags, I can actually move these smoke grenades into this double mag pouch, and that's actually, it's a little bit faster to get to, and I could then free up this too. I could run like my thermal monocular, especially if it's at nighttime. I could run my regular monocular in there. I could run a lot of different stuff in there, whatever. Very general purpose pouch. But typically, if I was really concerned with having like a lot of mags or whatever, then yeah, I'd just put smoke grenades in there. And especially, you know, us armed prepared citizens, we don't have like frags or anything, so smoke grenades are my only kind of really accessible, like throwable. And then on both sides, I just have a standard Eagle Industries canteen pouch. I thought about going with the kind of traditional canteen pouch that doesn't have the full flap and the canteen just sticks out. I think these pouches are a little bit more like versatile in that, which canteen pouches are pretty versatile in and of themselves, but I just wanted the ability that if I didn't want to run canteens, I could put like my night vision pad insert in there and keep my PVS 14 in there. Obviously you could use this as an IFAC pouch that, you know, standard IFAC insert will fit in here. Yeah, very useful pouch for anything, but I just have 2 canteens. Not only because I think water is important, and I think, you know, on some type of LBE you should have at least 1 quart. It actually, if I'm running 8 mags, that's, you know, that's a pretty decent load. These 2 canteens actually like counter that weight, so the rig is very well balanced. That I was actually running it without 2 canteens, and I was running just like 8 mags, and I just felt like a lot of lower back strain because I just had all that weight in the front. Versus now, the rig actually doesn't feel that heavy because it's well balanced. So yeah, that is my modified Flick split rig. So the thing about the Flick vest and my modified butchered split rig is that it's very adjustable, and it's a kind of, it's not really a traditional chest rig or like an H harness belt kit, if you will. It's like a weird hybrid kind of, just, it's its own thing.
Even Louis, but it's not. It's its own
thing really, and it's, you can wear it in many different styles. So for instance, this setup, I have it basically cinched up all the way back at the H harness, so I have it like all as maxed up as it can be. In this way, there's pros and cons wearing it really high or really low, and I'll get into that, but all the way high, you actually can use a traditional battle belt with some caveats. So this is my Alien Gear Rapid Force. It's on a low ride holster. It'll still work with a mid ride. I just find that this works really well, and so I can still get a good draw and reholster. It's not that bad. And now this is me talking about wearing this without armor. Obviously, anytime you're wearing armor, you're going to be turtled a little bit, and that's one of the downsides of wearing this high with armor, is that when you wear it high with armor, you're trying to wrap this, and I'll throw in videos of that, but you're trying to wrap this around your armor. So even if you loosen the back part, you're still adding width, and then that would just, it's still possible to draw from that. It's just, imagine you're pushed out more. So it's more of a kind of like a lean and present. And then the same way would be with reholstering. You'd have to kind of imagine you're like a real fat guy trying to get out of a car or something. You have to like kind of move around. But and then also that goes with pistol mags, is that I know a lot of guys that run their mags all the way forward. Well, since I have these double mag pouches here, it kind of pinches right there. So the only way to do it really is to have them further back to where it clears it. And it still clears, obviously, this tourniquet pouch right here. That's one thing I looked about on this, is that I could like rubber band or like kind of medical bandage a tourniquet right here. It's whatever. Probably find a better way to incorporate a tourniquet on here somewhere. Just haven't really found a solid way. Only the caveat I was talking about is if you want to wear a battle belt is you can't really, at least unless I remove this canteen pouch, yeah, you're not doing any high speed, fast mag, rifle reloads from the rear. It's all, the way I look at it is if I'm gonna run a belt kit, or not belt kit, but like a belt line first system with this, is that it's just supporting a secondary pistol mag and then like an IFAK. And then maybe I could put like a smoke grenade, whatever pouch, admin pouch, whatever. But I'm not really, it would be more of this supports my rifle and me, and this supports my pistol and me. If that makes sense. So, but it also goes into philosophy of use. So, yeah, you can run a pistol belt with this. It's just, what's your philosophy of, do you even need it? For instance, I talked about all those scenarios where a pistol belt might make sense. There's a lot where I don't think it makes sense, and the pistol is kind of not really hindrance, but it's just not super beneficial to bring one. Basically, any long movements or rural operations, I'm not going to take a pistol belt if I can help it. There are other ways to incorporate a pistol. You can always shove pistol in a mag pouch. You could always just stuff it in your pack as kind of a holdout weapon in case your rifle does go down hard and then you're just failing the mission or whatever, and you're just trying to survive. That makes a lot of sense. And the other way I've looked at it is if I don't want to actually wear a legit battle belt, as you can totally, if you wear this high, like I was saying, just direct thread like a normal like holster to your actual pants belt, and just kind of like that's all. That way you have a pistol and nothing else. You don't have to worry about any other stuff. It's pretty low profile, and that way you could or you could even shove this in your pack, and then that I'm gonna make a long movement, but then I'm gonna just sit somewhere. This way you could have a pistol if you really wanted to. Well, like I was saying, there's a lot of different, you can kind of wear this rig high, low, somewhere in between. But I actually really enjoy wearing this rig kind of lower, on kind of around the, where you traditionally wear like an H harness belt kit, or like an Alice web kind of belt system, or even like the light fighter, around that kind of same area of around the waist, because it's very, I guess, it really fits the human kind of body anatomy, in that it's very comfortable to wear stuff around your center line. Whether it's hot weather, cold weather, you're carrying a lot of weight or whatever, it's just very, I guess, efficient way to carry weight on the human body. And so this would be, especially for a type of long, I was saying, a long movement, patrolling, uneven terrain, really hot weather, cold weather. This would be kind of the setup I would have, where I'm wearing it low without armor. And like I said, the other thing about wearing it low is when I wear this with armor, I'm not really increasing my width outwards, because like you are a little bit, because no matter what, with armor you're gonna be turtled up a little bit, but the mags are lower on me, so my armor kind of sits in this pocket on the front and the back, so my profile is not that much bigger. I just have armor now. But the other benefit is it makes getting to stuff a lot easier. So now the mag's not really, it's not that big of a deal either way, because it's just right here. But mainly your like radio pouch, getting stuff out of there, or like your GP pouch, whether it's smoke grenades, optics, whatever, it's right there. But also your canteen. So I'm not gonna be drinking from canteens first, basically the short version. However, if I need to, it's still pretty easy to kind of spin it around and pull a canteen out. And then it also, like I was saying with these canteen pouches, they're very multi-use pouches, like general purpose, is that let's say I had my night vision in there, I could still access it easily. And now if it wasn't that easy, it's not that big of a deal. Just unbutton it a little bit, and now you can really move things around to get to it. And now, the only thing I was talking about, how I didn't really have an option for medical, is I would wear a like fanny pack medical with this. So that way I, you know, whether I'm wearing armor or not wearing armor, wearing like a pistol belt kit with medical in it, is I'll usually keep this kind of medical fanny pack with me, whether it's in the car or whatever, front, back, side, whatever. This is a pretty easy way of attaching medical to this kit. Alright, so getting into kind of packs, because obviously you could wear this rig by itself. In my philosophy, I'm not gonna be wearing this by itself, and I have tested this with a couple of different packs and stuff. So the first pack that I envision wearing with the split rig is this there's like an AWS beaver tail, not a knockoff, but it's their own take on the Eagle Industries beaver tail pack. Yeah, I have this kind of small assault pack. I have the ice plate on the back. So now you see I have it on. You know, I think this is a pretty good spot, and I'm pretty mobile. Now with armor, I'm gonna be definitely a lot more burdened, but I can still wear, you know, this assault pack with armor. But as you can see, it fits kind of perfectly in between that spot, between my two canteens. Yeah, this is a pretty nice setup, and like I was saying, you can still run a pistol even with it low. The other pack I've used is kind of my everyday bag. This is, I've done a video on this like a long time ago. This is the Helicon Tex Urban Raider pack, I believe. I mainly just use it for like everyday stuff, or if I know I'm gonna be gone a long time, I want to have some stuff with me. But I would say it's like a 30-liter pack versus that assault pack's like a 20-liter pack. This is more of a day bag, but I have done a little bit of movement. But this pack is that it doesn't really clear the canteen, so it's kind of like resting on the canteen, if you can look, which is not uncomfortable. This kind of, I guess, 24-hour day pack would work. I don't see why it wouldn't work with a lot of different other packs out there, like a 72-hour pack or whatever. And that's the whole beauty of running the kind of back open, is you're not limited to really anything. And then the other thing I could see wearing with the split rig is a large ruck. So this is just a large Alice. Now I don't have it weighed down, but it's kind of the same as the day pack. The kind of pad is touching the like canteen pouches. Which, it's not uncomfortable, and I've done a little bit of walking around in this, but to each their own. One thing I've heard, I know, shout out to the Grunt Perspective, is he actually talked about lowering the canteen pouches on the rig itself to help clear the straps. But my thing is, the straps don't really bother me. It's more of if I have a wide pack, you know, it'd be nicer if it fit in that kind of in-between spot. And pouches are removable. If I really don't care about the canteens, I can take the canteens off. But I just wanted to show you what all options you have with the split rig.
I hope y'all liked this video, and I might do a follow-up, but stay safe out there, stay frosty, and God bless.